Channel 3.
Fosse, one of the most revered names on Broadway, is now the title of one of the hottest shows on the road, and it's headed here to the Bushnell next Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. I'm Scot Haney. Get ready for an exclusive look at an amazing show that pays tribute to the late Bob Fosse. We'll take you behind the scenes and on the road with the incredible cast, find out what it takes to dance in the Fosse style, technically and physically. Meet the people backstage that keep the show on the road and hear from those who knew Fosse best. Now, it all began when one of Bob Fosse's veteran dancers wanted to say thank you.
Should have known by now, it was hard to doubt me, my hair.
Chet Walker collaborated with Fosse's third wife, Gwen Verdon, using Fosse's original choreography to tell his story. Another one of Fosse's inner circle, Ann Rankin, joined the team along with others who knew and worked with the master, passing on the distinct style to a new generation of dancers.
Speaking personally, I feel so fortunate to have been able to be a part of the show because of being able to work with people who were there with him and hearing the stories and everything. I can't tell you how privileged I feel.
28 dancers showed the evolution of the legendary choreographer from his beginnings of a young film star through his rise as a force to be reckoned with on Broadway. Bob Fosse was an unlikely hero of the dance world. As a classical dancer, he was far from ideal. He often stood hunched over, he was pigeon-toed, and had poor flexibility. Though it sounds like a ballet teacher's nightmare, his imperfections became the basis of a choreographic trademark.
There was this one story, actually, that Ann Rankin told us, that the broken doll moved, and the dancers just mimicked him because he was pigeon-toed, and so now it ends up being the step is actually pigeon-toed just because they were mimicking what he was doing. He didn't mean to turn it in, that's just how he was.
The Fosse style started turning up on stages everywhere, and make no mistake, Bob Fosse, the dancer, could still keep up with the best of them.
If you look back at old film footage of when he danced, he was very comparable to Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly and those dance luminaries of his time. So he was definitely a song and dance man and evolved his own dance style based on some of the projects that he picked.
In his 40-year career, Bob Fosse had a hand in 19 Broadway productions and 14 films, not to mention TV specials, ballets, and even vaudeville acts. 50 years ago, he debuted on Broadway in Dance Me a Song, and then he headed to Hollywood to perform in 3 movies. Throughout his career, he would head back and forth between screen and stage, collecting his first Tony Award for The Pajama Game. Over the years, he won 8 more Tonys, 3 Emmys, and the Oscar for Best Direction in one of the great movie musicals of the 20th century, Cabaret. Liza Minnelli won the acting Oscar, and the movie captured 8 awards overall.
Oh, no. You don't have any lines here.
All that jazz won 4 Oscars. Fosse presented a mostly negative look at his life, but the dance numbers show his passion and awesome powers of choreography. Bob Fosse died in 1987 near a theater in Washington where his dancers were preparing for a revival of his sweet charity.
Slick your hair and wear your buckled shoes.
Revivals of his work, like the popular Chicago, continue to wow audiences everywhere. When it's all working perfectly, it's a dance between the hard-working people behind the scenes and the performers on stage. We'll meet some of them when we come back.
It was just a wonderful tribute to his choreography. It was just awesome.
I thought it was amazing. I've seen it before, but this is incredible. Fosse just rules.
Classical and modern dance together. It's wonderful. Absolutely great.
We promised that last year's show would be tremendous, and we kept our promise.
Great comedians, your favorite singers.
Comedians, crazy, funny, top comics. Jerry Lewis, always funny.
And coming this Labor Day, more great stars, great entertainers, country music, rock! We promise!
Enjoy a terrific day of golf and help needy kids in Connecticut at the same time. Hi, I'm Miles Muzio, and you're invited to the 3rd annual Channel 3 Country Camp Golf Classic. Tuesday, September 19th at the Blue Fox. 5067. Channel 3, putting kids and families first.
Introducing new Dessert Delight snack bars. Chocolate fudge, luscious lemon, even creamy cheesecake. So indulgent, you might want to eat half now and save the other half for when you're done with that half. Dessert Delights, new from Jell-O.
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web, the wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web, only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
Yeah, crap.
Presenting new Dessert Delight snack bars. Chocolate fudge, luscious lemon, creamy cheesecake. So deliciously decadent, you'd better find a good hiding place. May we suggest your mouth? Dessert Delight, new from Jell-O.
On the next Inside Edition, inside the lives of the candidates' kids, from their house to the White House. Wait till you see what the children of the presidential candidates are up to. Watch the next Inside Edition.
Monday at 7 p.m. on Channel 3.
Welcome back to our exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Fosse, an extraordinary tribute to the legendary choreographer Bob Fosse. So just what is the Fosse style?
You do an eclectic celebration of the dance. You do Fosse, Fosse, Fosse. You do Martha Graham, Martha Graham.
Most of the time, his style is very understated. The movements are very small and precise, you know, and very detail-oriented.
Well, to me, Bob's material is so organic as opposed to being what sells and what's categorized.
It's not just about the movement, it's about the intention behind the movement.
It's so much about subtleties, but precision, that in having the ballet training, you're accustomed to detail. I think that Mr. Fosse was sort of a thinking man's choreographer. Some choreographers choreograph dance for dance's sake, but Mr. Fosse tried to find a unique angle, a wit about his movement.
You feel awkward. You feel like, how am I looking? You're thinking, what is this looking like?
Less is more. Definitely less is more.
It's strong, and strong isn't necessarily a man. It might be a woman.
He goes to a very simplistic approach. He isolates a finger, he isolates a shoulder, and either one person or several doing it, or the whole group, the effect is really stunning.
You go back, back, back. Dancers are actors, because we're all of us, singers, dancers, and actors. We're all actors. You can put us in the same category. You just might be acting with your moves, with your body, or acting with your voice through lyrics, or acting just with a monologue.
Just feels sort of delicious. I can't just dance this. I'm doing a disservice to myself. I'm doing a disservice to the audience. I'm doing a disservice to Mr. Fosse, because it's just not just dancing to me. I mean, you look at any of the pieces of his work, they just seem to be a part of a larger story that furthers the plot line along. So you just can't do the number, because they're real people.
I come from a culture that's very dancey, that, you know, we danced all the time to celebrate. You do a party, you have a party, we dance. You know, you actually have to dance. There's no option. That's the main, you know, theme when you party. When you celebrate, you got to get up and you shake. So I think that there's an extension from that upbringing into the work.
You can turn them out, or you can turn them in. And I do soft-boiled hams in steam heat, which is done like this. I'm glad at my age to have the chance to do this show. Because it's not, there's a certain time limit as far as my dancing career is concerned, and I'm glad that I fit it in before I have to say goodbye to it.
I knew when I was 3 years old I was going to be in the entertainment business. My dad was a singer, but he never sang professionally or publicly or anything like that. But he would sit down to the piano and he plunked out a song that he wrote for my mom called My Guardian Angel. My guardian angel, oh, up above, please take care of the one that I love. I knew from that point that that's what I wanted to do.
The sensuality of the arm going up the body and down the body. His choreography speaks for itself. I mean, you really don't have to bring a whole lot of drama to it because the movement speaks for itself. And if you understand what it is you're doing and why you're doing it, it'll just emanate from the body.
All the performers share a passion for dance, a common thread in a very diverse cast, from experience to backgrounds to age.
We run the gamut from 19 to 40, so not to reveal anyone's age.
I believe that Fosse celebrated the individual.
He was one of the first choreographers that dealt with, you know, interracial casting and dealing with sexuality and that whole thing. So I think he was much more of a realist with his work.
This looks like not cookie-cutter dancers, but distinct individual people, different hair color, different heights, different textures to their body, different lengths, different shapes in their muscles, and yet we're all doing the same thing.
Hey, big spender! Hey, big spender! Hey, big spender!
So how do you bring all these dancers with diverse backgrounds together? It's a job tailor-made for those who knew the man best.
Annie Ranking is determined to bring up a new generation of Fosse dancer.
And working with Annie and Gwen, you know, when you sit in front of these, you know, historically, you know, legends sitting right in front of you, you know, you're a part of history. It's something that I never want to take for granted.
And when I saw Fosse on Broadway, I was doing Chicago at the time, and I had a real pang in my heart because I knew that I really wanted to do that material while it was being passed down by the people who really know it best.
We just trust Anne Rankin to tell us how we're looking. Usually she told us. She was like, no.
Just like the friends, we try to warn you.
Even though it took some time to learn, these dancers and the crew take pride in being chosen to pass on the Fosse style to a new generation of theater goers.
I've always dreamed of doing Bob Fosse's work and working with Anne Rankin and Gwen Verdon. So that in itself, I mean, is just like every day I wake up and I go, wow, I'm really doing this, you know.
I'm really blessed to be up there, to know that, you know, I've been dreaming since I was 3, and to see them manifest every day, right before Cherries and the curtains goes up, I go, thank you.
I love it. I just have the best time. They fuel me because, you know, I'm getting to be an old man, but I'm jumping, conducting away because it explodes right off the stage.
What keeps me on the road, I think, is what I see people getting out of this? The enjoyment of the audience?
Just listening to the audience applaud, and if they happen to stand at the end of the show, I know that, you know, this much of it, even just that much of it, I might have had something to do with, and that's enough for me.
When we come back, we're going to continue our backstage tour of Fosse with a look at a part of the show you usually never get to see.
I think he knows how to make people move, and it looks beautiful.
I loved the dancing. It was like awesome dancing. It was so flexible and amazing.
We promised that last year's show would be tremendous, and we kept our promise.
Great comedians, your favorite singers.
Comedians, crazy, funny, top comics. Jerry Lewis, always funny.
And coming this Labor Day, more great stars, great entertainers, country music, rock! We promise!
Kristen Newhall from Brooklyn, New York talks about carday.com.
I needed a used car, and after looking in the newspapers and at used car dealerships and on the internet, I was so happy to find CarDay because I'm convinced that I got the best deal. I found that I paid significantly below retail value and just above trade-in value, which, considering I got a warranty and I got full inspection, I felt really, really comfortable and really happy with what I was paying for my car. On CarDay, they offered up research for all different cars, all different makes and all different models. It was really important to me to have the car both certified and warrantied. I felt comfortable knowing that it was a 100+ point inspection on the car. It sort of bought me freedom and bought me mobility, which I hadn't had before.
carday.com. Certified used cars. Visit our website or call 1-800-MY-CARDAY.
I had such a great experience with CarDay that I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for a great deal on a used car.
So this is what big kids do. Have their friends over and eat Easy Mac? Yeah? Did Mr. Easy Mac impress you with his ability to microwave noodles and water and mix in cheese? Speaking of friends, don't you have an imaginary one you can play with? Not if you're sitting on her.
It's so tasty. I think I'll have another bowl.
Make one for me too, please.
Kraft Easy Mac for the cheesiest anytime.
When you can't watch the news, you can still get all the information you need from Connecticut's most watched newscast by clicking on to WFSB.com, the only online source for Doppler 3000, the most powerful weather radar in Connecticut. Plus, count on WFSB.com for up-to-the-minute news coverage. WFSB.com, your 24-hour news source from the station you know and trust. Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Connecticut's news station.
Welcome back, everybody. The performers in Fosse are just part of the big picture. They are supported by an award-winning crew, not to mention some first-rate musicians. Musical director Don York instills in his performers the same dedication Mr. Fosse brought to the choreography.
Every little bit of his choreography is very specific. Also in those syllables, style of singing. I want to be a dancing man. Could be very plain, but they say, I. Blackbird. All of those songs have a sort of swagger to them.
Packed up all my carry woe. Here I go, swinging low. Blackbird.
Every step they do has some very deep connection to the sound that's coming out of the pit. So it's inevitable that the two work well together.
Blackbird.
The conductor has to, he watches us and he has to feel us as he's conducting. And there's always a battle of tempos.
You'll find 19 players in the pit, but it's going to sound like a lot more because those players will each play several instruments.
You know, besides Fosse's outstanding music and incredible dance numbers, lighting plays a critical role in the show.
There really is a huge amount of lights. The show got a Tony Award for the lighting.
Lighting controls absolutely everything you see. It's just clean. It's clean. It's not excessive. There are a lot of moving lights in this show, and they could have been overused. And just lighting for lighting's sake. And there's not a lot of that. Our gear in total probably takes up about a full truck, and there's several miles of cable and that sort of thing. I think there's about 50 lights that are capable of spinning around, moving, changing pattern, changing where they're pointing, and those are all controlled by this lighting board here.
It's deceptively simple, yet there's a lot going on.
I think it's much like Mr. Fosse's work, that it's all in the detail. Everyone says that you know, a real wonderful Fosse performance is just in the details, and I think it's the same with the production.
Between the lighting and the sound and the choreography and the scenery, everything works really well together to focus what the subject of the show, which is Mr. Fosse's choreography, and I think it's brilliantly done.
As always, you can count on a show like this to include tons of costumes.
Thousands. The girls go through their shoes, I'd say, every 3 months, and when some of the shoes are custom made, and they take at least 3 months to get. So as soon as we get a new pair, we order another pair for them. It's insane. It's a night. The shoes in the show are a nightmare.
It's a massive wardrobe show. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but they're always constantly changing.
Each cast member alone has about 8 to 10 different costumes. When everybody thinks Fosse, they think black, and that's not the case in our show. You'll notice a lot of color in Big Spender.
In a show of this kind, where there are so many costume changes, we have to be able to mic them up for a number and then take them off and get them set for the next number, et cetera, et cetera. Well, so a lot of what we do is moving transmitters from person to person.
One time somebody forgot to put their mic on, which wasn't bad except for the fact that all the mics had been brought up, so we know that there's a mic backstage somewhere, and nobody quite knew where it was. So there was the fear that, like, you and I would be standing next to the mic having a conversation at the top of our voice, and it would be picked up. It would be picked up in the audience, which actually has happened a couple of times.
Fosse's debut in Connecticut has everyone very excited. Next, we're going to tell you exactly what to expect when the show hits the stage at the Bushnell.
It's hard to like not get out of your seat and just run up on stage and dance with everyone.
It was a good time. Actually, we saw Rent before, so this was actually my second musical, so it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
This fall, Bette Midler's Private Life reveals.
Hi, hon. How you feeling?
Like a fossil in here.
The wild shopping sprees with her daughter.
You don't think this outfit's a little too young for me, do you?
Yes.
Me either.
The visits to a plastic surgeon.
Starting with the ground floor.
Hey, doctor, I just want to look good, not whistle.
The star-studded Hollywood party.
Jenny!
Hey, babe.
You'll see it all
Take the damn plate.
on Bette, a new comedy coming this fall to CBS.
Introducing new Dessert Delight snack bars. Chocolate fudge, luscious lemon, even creamy cheesecake. So indulgent, you might want to eat half now and save the other half for when you're done with that half. Dessert Delights, new from Jell-O. Dessert Delights are a whole new kind of snack bar. If you've ever tried to put an actual cheesecake, fudge cake, or lemon pie in your pocket, life just got a whole lot better. Craving a little something sweet? Now I could go for something Jell-O.
Through the Feast program at Shepherd House in Middletown, Darrell Pitts has not only beaten hunger, he has now dedicated his life to feeding others less fortunate in hopes that they too might turn their lives around.
It helped enhance my life and to make a better person of myself.
Food Share of Greater Hartford not only provides food for more than 100,000 men, women, and children, its outreach is changing people's lives. Food Share of Greater Hartford and Channel 3, putting families first.
sinfully seductive. Forgivingly, Friars, smooth and creamy yogurt. 99% fat-free, so it tastes naughty, but it's not.
Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you.
Presenting new Dessert Delight snack bars. Chocolate fudge, luscious lemon, creamy cheesecake. So deliciously decadent, you'd better find a good hiding place. May we suggest your mouth? Dessert Delight, new from Jell-O.
I got steam heat, but I need your love to keep away the cold. I got steam heat, I got steam heat, I got steam heat.
Welcome back to our behind-the-scenes look at Fosse. Ronna Reynolds, the interim executive director at the Bushnell, says that Fosse combines all the best songs and dances in one show.
It is something that really just is one jaw-dropping blockbuster number after the next. And I think that that kind of energy is just going to exhilarate people. It is a review of the incredible body of work of Bob Fosse. And it doesn't tell one story, it tells many stories. And to the extent that this is really a homage to Bob Fosse, a homage to dance.
But how does the Bushnell attain such quality productions year after year after year?
It's just been a great tradition of bringing the real blockbuster musicals here. Began in 1996 with Phantom of the Opera, and we continued on with Miss Saigon, Ragtime, Showboat, and now probably one of the most dazzling entertainments we'll ever have on our stage, Fosse.
Fosse won the 1999 Tony Award for Best Musical, Orchestration, and Lighting Design, and it captured Best Musical trophies from the Drama League, the Outer Critics, and Drama Desk Awards. Not bad, huh? Well, it's time for us to say goodnight, but you can get a total Fosse experience by coming to the show. Just visit or call the Bushnell box office. The musical opens on Tuesday and runs through September 17th. So from all of us here at Channel 3, thank you for sharing your time with us, and whether you're a Broadway veteran or a total newcomer, there's no doubt you're going to love Fosse. Good night.